he's kind, works hard, and doesn't cheat. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. That is just the absolute bare minimum of being in a relationship with someone. This is not exceptional. This is not extraordinary. It's also no longer enough. Just because these would qualify you as a good man does not in fact mean you are a good husband or a good partner. Because again, these are the bare necessities. You are not offering anything else outside of this. What do we need you for? What is the purpose of said relationship if this is all that you offer? If this is all you think is good enough? Because the thing is that good enough is no longer enough. Good enough is the things that women provide themselves. They no longer need or require these things of a man. You have to bring a lot more to the table than just these things. These don't automatically qualify you as a good person, as a good man, as a good husband. And this type of rhetoric is what keeps women in subpar relationships. Because, well, at least he doesn't cheat on me. At least he has a full-time job. At least he's not going out on me every night. At least he's not abusing me physically. This type of comment is a rare form of manipulation, if you will. Could be worse, so you better count your lucky stars that it's not. Sometimes the grass is greener on the other side, and sometimes the other side is your own yard, without a man trying to convince you that this is all you'll ever need.
Woman, don't you think men feel the same way about women? It's crazy how some women today seem out of touch with reality. They're demanding so much from men without offering much in return. It's like they think they're princesses and we should treat them like royalty. Let's be honest, ladies, men aren't the problem. You are. You expect us to be perfect while you do nothing. You want a man who's kind, loyal, and hardworking. But what are you bringing to the relationship? Probably just a seat at the table, right? And don't even get me started on some entitled women in the West. They think they deserve everything just because they exist. Well, here's a reality check. The world doesn't owe you anything. If you want a good man, you gotta put in some effort too. And you know what's even crazier? Some of these women criticize men for looking for relationships abroad. But can you really blame these men when all they find at home are women who feel entitled and expect everything handed to them on a silver platter? So, here's the bottom line, ladies. If you want a good man, start by looking in the mirror. Take a good look at yourself and ask, what am I contributing? Because until you figure that out, you'll keep pushing away the good men and wondering why you're still single.
Men and women were asked if they got 80% of everything they want in their ideal mate, would they be happy with that? And women said, no, that's settling. And men said, 80%, I'd be thrilled, that's a catch. And so
80% to the women you surveyed is settling?
That's settling because, the question is, what actually makes us happy in long-term romantic love? And, that's the question that I explore in the book. And I'm a journalist, so I went out and I asked neurobiologists about chemistry, and I asked behavioral economists about demographics, and I asked marital researchers.
What are women too picky about here?
Well, I'll tell you, men and women were asked what would be a deal breaker for going on a second date. And men named 3 things. They said she has to be cute enough. She doesn't have to look like Angelina Jolie. She just has to be cute enough. She has to be warm and kind. And she has to be interesting to talk to. Those seem like really valid criteria.
Ding, 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 ding. Pretty simple.
Right. Okay, reasonable, right? The women came back with 300 things that would rule out a guy for a second date. And we're talking about like another 2 hours and maybe a free dinner. And they wouldn't do it. And there were things like, he wore a brown belt with black shoes. Or we were having a really good time and I thought he was cute and he was interesting, but then he did this Austin Powers impression and I just can't get that out of my mind and I can't go out with him again.
And so with that knowledge, it makes a lot more sense now when you look at the divorce rate and you look at who's initiating the divorces, and not just divorces, but who initiates breakups inside of relationships more often as well. And people will always be quick to blame the men, but could it be that women are hard to please?
It's well known that women are more likely to start divorces and breakups than men. While there are valid reasons for ending a relationship, it seems that some women only feel fulfilled when they're with toxic men. They seem to thrive on drama and chaos, and anything less just doesn't interest them. Modern women often have unrealistic expectations for their partners. They want a man who meets every requirement on their list and fulfills all their desires. But no one is perfect, and expecting perfection will only lead to disappointment. Many women today seem to want to control and manipulate their partners, using them for their time, attention, and validation. It's like they view men as objects to be used and discarded as they please. Another troubling trend is the misuse of feminism. Instead of empowering women, it has sometimes turned them against men, creating mistrust and hostility between the sexes. While feminism has brought positive changes in many ways, it has also led to a sense of entitlement and narcissism in some women. This has made men wary of relationships and marriage, as the ever-changing standards and demands from women make it hard to know what they want or how to make them happy. When communication breaks down and trust is lost, relationships are likely to fall apart.
Things I no longer tolerate dating in my 30s. Hear me out, but I'll never again have a boyfriend. The concept of boyfriend-girlfriend relationships is fairly new and, in my opinion, a total scam for women. It gives you a fake sense of exclusivity and commitment, but really that man takes all the benefits of having you as a wife. You get attached to him as if he were your husband, but he can leave you at any time with no repercussions, even if you get pregnant with his child. If you make it clear that I will only cook for my husband, I will only spend the night with my husband, I would never move in with a man who wasn't my husband, you'll never again be caught in a dead-end relationship with a man that knew he wasn't going to propose to you on day one. Dating means going on dates, not playing house with a man who isn't committed to you. Always remember that until you're married, you're single, and act accordingly. Follow me for more dating advice, and always remember that you're the prize.
Dating is like auditioning for marriage or a serious relationship. It's a time for both people to see if they're a good match for the long term, if they can picture a future together, and if they're ready to work at it. However, some dating coaches for single women seem to have a motive for keeping women single. They might believe that being single is empowering and independent, or they could be projecting their own fears and insecurities onto others. Whatever the reason, their advice isn't always helpful. For example, the idea that women should act like they're single until they get married might seem like a way to stay independent, but it's actually a bad strategy. If you're not willing to put time, effort, and emotional energy into a relationship, you can't expect to build a strong foundation for marriage. Also, there's a double standard where women want men to treat them as if they're already married, but they don't want to treat their men like they're already their husbands. It's a classic case of wanting the best of both worlds.
I can't believe I just got home and my husband has completely cleaned out the house. I just can't believe this. He was even so petty that he took the carpet, the carpet that he put down. I mean, really? So that's what men doing now? Like, you leave and you start pulling up everything that you paid for? Wow, guys, like, I really don't believe this. I am a total shock.
Let's be honest, every story has two sides, like a coin with each side showing a different view. Women can be just as petty as men, if not more. They have the power to take more than just material things. They can take away your peace of mind, self-worth, and even your whole life. When she said he bought the property, it's not about being petty, he's just taking what's rightfully his. People often forget that you can't expect to enjoy the benefits of a relationship without actually being in one. It's a two-way street. We can't say he shouldn't have acted just because he's a man. If a woman repeatedly puts down or tries to undermine a man, he has every right to defend himself and his possessions. The problem is that when things like this happen, these women are quick to share their side on social media, seeking sympathy and attention, hoping someone will come to their aid and buy them new things. But men see through this act and understand what's really happening behind the scenes.
He was even so petty that he took the carpet, the carpet.
Y'all, I really can't get over this video. Because she said he not only cleaned out the entire house, but he pulled up the carpet for which he paid. In the spirit of equality, you can't say he shouldn't have done that because he's a man. This man is hurt. Which brings me right back to this question. What did you do? Because one thing you cannot do is sit here and say that he was just so petty over nothing. Oh, you did something. Because ain't a soul alive going to go through all that for nothing. You got a whole playlist about what he did. I'm going to need the series about what you did. I'll give you 5 parts. I can do 5 parts. No more than that.
When a man becomes as petty as we're seeing, it's usually a reaction to something significant. It's not just about a minor argument or annoyance. There's likely been a breach of trust, a violation of boundaries, or another serious issue. If he's going to such lengths, he's probably reached a breaking point where he feels he has no other choice. Accountability should go both ways, and it's clear that this woman lacks it in this situation. However, it's notable how many people quickly defend her and blame him. There's an immediate reaction to portray her as the victim and him as the villain without considering that she might be at fault. If he's taking back all his belongings, it's not just a petty move, it's a statement. It shows he feels he has had enough and needs to protect himself and his things. The quickness with which people defend her is surprising. We should give her some benefit of the doubt, but we also need to consider that she might have made a serious mistake. We don't know all the details, but it's likely that there's more to the story than what's apparent. In the end, this situation reminds us that relationships can be messy, complicated, and sometimes downright ugly. I want to tell you something. I have written a book that will change your life if you're dealing with modern women or looking to improve yourself. This book will help you a lot. It has changed the lives of many people, so you should give it a try. Buying link in the description.